Welcome back to another edition of Imagine Better. This is Mark Powers, your host, and I am joined today by a really good friend of mine, superstar human, Keith Powers. And believe it or not, we are not related. Welcome to the studio, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
It's good to have you. You're a ball of energy, a force to reckon with out there in the world, man. Serial entrepreneur, awesome dad, family man.
Appreciate
Now
that.
you got this new venture we're going to talk about.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah, life is definitely taking a direction for sure.
Yeah, your purpose is coming to fruition.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, what is life without purpose, right?
Right.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I think we align so well is, we're on the same path of understanding of how to help grow individuals and help navigate people to a better life.
Absolutely, man. Keith and I go back, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 8 years? 7, 8 years maybe?
Yes,
maybe a little bit longer.
2017.
Was it 2017?
Year Mike passed away.
Yeah, that's right. So we had a mutual friend of ours, God rest his soul, and we met at a cigar bar and a cigar lounge, and I'll try to remember it. So my buddy Mike and I were sitting outside with the other guys out in the patio area outside, and we see this truck keep passing by with this woman in it, and she finally stops and asks if we've seen this individual, this guy. And we're like, no. And then I needed another glass of wine, so I walk into the bar, and here is this guy all tattooed up because she was telling us what he looked like. I'm like, well, this got to be the guy. So I'm like, hey, I think you have someone outside looking for you. And long story short, it was his wife, and that's how we met. We've been friends ever since, and hung out at many cigar lounges over the years. I'm not a big cigar smoker, but I hung out with all you guys. So there, I don't know, did I miss anything in that story? I don't know. I mean, we don't have to get all
we could have a whole episode on just that.
Right.
That encounter was such a transitional point of direction. Honestly, it was one of the most pivotal areas that gravitated me towards a whole new group of people.
Right.
With Mike's passing, I mean, people that I am very close with today, came from that interaction on that patio.
Exactly.
The crazy story was our relation of last name.
Right.
The city where your dad resides, my family originates from.
Yeah.
My power side. And then Angela's having a sidebar conversation with Mike, and we had just got back from Nashville.
Right.
I don't know if you remember this, but Mike was in Nashville the same weekend we were. And he had met a woman named Angela Williams, which is her maiden name. And she lived one exit from Angela's originating hometown. It was like eerie weird. Me and you were having a whole separate conversation about like our potential relation of our last name. And we're like, you won't believe this. And they're like, you won't believe this. And I'm like, this is just, I don't know what it is, how I ended up here. My wife's talking to a bunch of dudes on the patio, and I don't know what the heck's going on. All of a sudden, you're inviting me in for a glass of wine. And you guys just seemed so cool. It was so relaxing, so inviting, and not knowing that was going to open up to many friendships that, have really helped shape my life. And, can't say I was in the best place at that point, in life. A lot of things have changed since, a lot of experiences, good and bad, and that's kind of where I'm at today.
Well, I tell you, man, getting to know you has been amazing, and you're right. I mean, and we're talking about Michael Raffin. He was a really, really selfless individual, amazing person of God, and this guy gave to everything, but he was a connector. And much of you that watch my show, I always talk about Terry Bean being the connector of humans. This friend of ours who passed away a few years ago, he was also a connector of humans, and he brought us all together, like Kevin Tilney, and I mean the list goes on, man. So, and you and I have always just stayed close, and every time there was something good, the bad, the ugly going on in our lives, we would call each other and talk about it. And you've been on the phone with me numerous times over the last couple of years, getting ready to kind of talk about what we're going to jump into here in a little while. But walk us, man. You have an amazing background. share what you want. I mean, you've been through the hardship of life, and you've came out. You're super successful. You've mentored your employees, these young kids, turning them into amazing humans, and teaching them respect. And you've helped make them good money. The list goes on.
Yeah.
So maybe start wherever you want. Pick up. Let's get behind the why of Keith Powers.
Yeah. So it's just in the last 2 years, 3 years, that things have really transitioned to where I'd even want to share the story. Of a very troubled, rough past of negative and positive experience.
Right.
just starting out. Young childhood. Life was not in any sort of a good place. My father was extremely irresponsible, very young. He grew up without a father, really had no direction in his life.
Okay.
And my father was very gifted, very smart individual, business owner, knew how to make money, but did not know how to manage it. And, we were always without. I mean, as me and my sister, we went through life literally shopping very little for school shopping, bills always getting shut off, jumping from house to house. We started early on, Southeast Detroit, and where I was literally, the only white kid in the entire neighborhood in the school.
Wow.
Houses getting broken into while we're sleeping. Finally got out of that area and moved into my grandmother's house, and that didn't work out. Just a lot of conflict, a lot of fights all the time. Parents didn't get along.
What an environment and experience to have to go through at such a young age.
That was the exposure,
Yeah.
And you're a child.
Yeah.
That's normalized. You don't know any different, right? Until you start growing and realize there is a difference, or you're around friends that you realize have good families, have good upbringings. And we were fortunate enough. We ended up residing in Royal Oak, and I got to see a huge transition. Very different environment, very family-oriented area, and we were renting a house from my uncle.
Okay.
And that ended up, taking its course as well in a negative direction. My father took advantage of the situation. And, after years of being there, and, I ended up going through middle school there and most of my high school years, and developed some great friendships that I still have today.
Nice.
From then.
Nice.
But I got to see a difference in what life could be, right?
Okay.
Parents ended up going through divorce. My dad had gone through a very serious, trying time through that divorce situation, and pretty much lost his mind. Came to literally wanting to execute his family.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, you can definitely say that trauma, if in any sense, should have definitely hit me. I don't know how it missed. All I can say is I always saw something better, the potential of making something of life, and not wanting to be what my father was.
Right.
We grew up. Unfortunately, I took a pretty big dive, stayed around the wrong people, and that threw my life into a very negative space. Ended up almost doing 8 years in prison for
wow, Keith, I didn't know that.
Drug manufacturing, and that was completely accidental. Again, wrong place, wrong time, helping out a buddy.
So on your resume, did you ever just put, you were in manufacturing?
Yeah, well, so I look at it as this. I was in sales.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Sales has been the thing that has changed my life in such ways that I didn't realize what I was creating,
right.
for myself. Having a kid early on, my first daughter, when I was 18 years old, very young individual myself, but that gave me purpose. It gave me a reason to start directionalizing my life. The problem is I was so young, I didn't know what direction even was. So the only thing I knew was go to work every day.
Right.
Work my life away. And that's what I did for a long time. Missed out on kids growing up. We ended up 5 kids. After 11 years, ended up going through a divorce, and that was turmoil for the children.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I can say that starting business early at that point, 18 years old, 19 years old, learning early how to communicate with people and build relationships, and eventually I came to a point where I found somebody found me, seen something in me that I didn't realize was there, and was willing to help me and mentor me to understand business, understand how I could actually scale up and grow. Nice. I was in the lawn maintenance industry, and I ended up doing really well, generating around $500,000 a year. And at 23 to 26 years old, that's
great money,
really good money.
Yeah.
So life moves on, and divorce happens. Kids go through, a real trying time. And I had one of the most irresponsible points of my life at that point. I had been doing the status quo every day for so long that I didn't even know what life was, and I became extremely reckless, extremely irresponsible. Became a horrible father for that 2-year period.
It's sad.
Partying all the time, and just not figuring it out. Getting with the wrong women, 3 bad relationships, and I came to a point where it was like enough's enough. Contemplating suicide, like worthlessness. Even though I had done so well financially and generated so many positive things,
right?
They didn't matter, honestly. At that point in life, my last relationship did me in so bad that I just felt completely worthless. Like, man, I've been doing this so long, through marriage, through being a father, through trying to learn business and build relationships, and nothing's working out.
So to get to that point, you've accomplished a lot, you struggled a lot. mentally, you were just worn down. To get to the point where you actually contemplated suicide, did you ever try to make an attempt on your life, or you just kind of, it went through your mind a little bit?
It came to a point, literally a one-night point, where that was it. I had made up my mind that it just was, man, it's, until you're to that point, can you relate with what other people struggle with?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And mental health is real.
It's
and
definitely.
I'm a very strong-minded individual. It's almost impossible to break me.
Right.
And when I'm able to break myself, that it's extremely bad. So if it can do it to me, and then you have other individuals that are a lot more weak-minded, man, I feel for them individuals, which is what's has me on my path of what changes I want to make for other individuals, because I've been there, right?
That's the whole premise of Imagine Better, why I started this show. I've been on a journey myself. I'm an advocate for mental health, personal discovery and journeys and transformation. That's what this show's all about.
Yeah.
And getting to the core. When somebody reaches a point of that, right? I never knew that about your life. That breaks my heart to hear you say this. And that right there just validates how important mental health is. We need to be more proactive in this country to support that. It's not just crazy town. It's anxiety, depression, stress, suicidal thoughts.
Mostly because people don't have direction. They don't have the right mentorship. They don't have the right help. Friends of mine for years told me, be alone, be single. Life isn't working out. Do something different, and you just don't listen. You have to go through the motions, right? It's also extremely difficult to listen to people really close to you.
Right.
Close friends, definitely family. It's hard to take advice from those individuals.
Yeah.
You generally do take the advice from individuals you don't know, which is why coaching, I feel, is so drastically important in people's lives. If anything I could say that I wish I had done more of in my life was attached to a coach, somebody that could help navigate me.
Yeah.
it ain't doctors. No. Doctors are there to feed the need, to keep the persisting actions going, because they want to prescribe medications and help you down that path in ways that are not helpful. They actually generate and create new problems. Given where my life was going and where it's finally ended up is what's really brought me to the understanding of a bigger purpose in life, of helping individuals that do not know how to get to a certain place, whether it be how to grow a life coming out of high school, what trades to go in, college. I didn't go to college, and I was able to generate over $100 million, by not going to college.
Right.
My wife, very successful, undergrad, MBA, and, she's smart as all hell. She helps me, better my own life myself.
Yeah.
And to know that our differences still align in so many ways when I was not exposed to the things that she was exposed to. Great life, great parenting, and I come from such a troubled past, and we have such like-minded ideals. It tells you that you can learn it. You can figure it out.
I believe that.
You don't need schooling to do it. You need life experiences. You need mentorship, direction. You need people to help you understand a path and help you figure out what that path even actually is. You're a young individual. There's a lot of people out there that are going through so many bad life experiences, and they feel they can't find a way. They're not even sure there is a way, and this is why they give up.
Right.
It's also why they don't even try, And to be able to get into a young individual like that and be able to make that big of an impact, as I have in many young individuals' lives, and we have a couple that had worked for the business that very young age and generate over $100,000 coming from a $40,000 a year job and never seeing anything more than that, and all of a sudden complete change in direction.
Talk about giving them a whole different perspective of life and confidence. And willingness to invest in themselves.
Yeah, because they didn't just learn how to make more money. They learned how to be a better person. They learned how to strategize. They learned the confidence build.
Right.
Some of these kids come in, they didn't even know how to interact with individuals. There was this fear. And when you can just dial into somebody and rid that fear from them and have an understanding that you can accomplish anything. It's all in the mindset. It's all in the discipline. It's all in how bad do you want a different life? How bad does it matter, right? Everybody says they want a different life until it's time to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure you've experienced this. I experienced it myself. I'm super hard on myself, and
I'm a king
I'm still
self-sabotage and beating the shit out of myself
every
mentally.
Day. I am nowhere near perfect, nor do I actually ever want to be.
No, I want to continue to strive to be the best version tomorrow. That every day I want to be better than I was the previous day. I know you're that same person.
I am. In some sick, twisted way, I gravitate to the problem. I want the problem, right?
Yeah.
I don't want the solution. I want the problem so I can create the solution.
Right.
I don't want anybody helping me to figure it out. I want the hardest part of it all.
So what's interesting, we're going to get into the real meat of this thing here soon, but from your childhood, would you agree that the way that you were programmed, right? We're all programmed in our adolescence.
Absolutely.
And would you agree that carries into our adulthood and really becomes the fabric of who we are until we identify and try to solve that problem or try to get help and fix it?
Yeah, but it's figuring out how to get that help.
Right, and that's not easy.
Or getting the right help.
And being willing to go out and admit to yourself you need help.
Yeah, it's a lot of the issues now is a lot of people don't admit the problems that they actually have. And then they wonder why life is not changing, right?
I don't know about you, Keith, but I'll tell you, 5 years, and we've talked about this, I fought depression. I still fight a little bit of it every day. It's not as bad as it used to be. But I'll tell you, up until 2 years ago, my ego, my pride was all in the way. I'm like, I can do this. I got this.
Yep.
You know what? And I got so dark, and I was fighting some demons that I just didn't know how to deal with anymore. I had to admit to myself, get the fuck up, Go find a good therapist that can help you figure this out, give you guidance, strategy, tactics that are going to help implement in your week, hold you accountable, right? Maybe motivate you a little bit, but you have to activate on that.
Absolutely.
So I did that. I've been going 2 years now. Every Tuesday, I never miss a beat, and I'll never stop going to therapy. But it's helped transform me. So you're right. I mean, I think people need to find that darkness inside themselves first before they're willing to really change. Because surface level change is just that.
Yeah.
Transformational change, man, that's a whole nother beast inside. You're digging deep. You're finding out who you are. You're finding out what you're made of.
Yeah.
You're finding out who your friends are.
I think you just nailed it.
Transformational
change is the biggest self-awareness, because transformational will resonate to fitness.
Yeah.
You know, I was extremely overweight, just a couple years ago. I mean, life was getting really good, a lot of money being made, eating well, living life a little too good, and not concentrating on my health. It was getting out of control. I was around 264 pounds, and today I'm at 194.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like
you look great. I mean, you definitely have lost a lot of weight.
Drastic amount. But what that has done for me, it set the pace. If you don't feel good within your body, you will not feel good within your mind. It is it is the beginning of structure that has helped navigate me to a better place of wanting to see more out of how can I help individuals and have them take me serious.
Right. When
they look at me, and sure, I might have a gift of, describing things or navigating things, but visually, you're gauged off of appearance.
Right.
That's what we are, right? We're gauged off of appearance first. And
you have nothing else to go off of.
Exactly.
Unless you hear this person speak, then you got a couple things, the visual and
absolutely
the audio
component. But imagine if you could bring it all together, right?
Right.
And that's where people are willing to really take you a lot more serious. And I'll tell you, I am literally living proof of it. Most of the transition of a lot of the direction of where we're going now is because I have gotten my fitness so dialed in. I feel better. I look better. I carry myself better.
Right.
My attitude is extremely different. The way that I deliver a message now is extremely different because I'm more invested. I'm more bought into myself. And you really can't get to that next level in your life if you're not willing to discipline the things that are wrong. Not some of the things, all of the things. Putting a plan in place, right?
Yeah.
Some people are like, well, I worked on this and, life should change. Well, what about all the other things that matter, Fitness isn't going to change your finance, right? Yeah. But it shows you the discipline that you can put into your body that gives you the understanding of how to discipline your finance.
Absolutely, right there.
So it's buy-in, it's believability. Knowing that you can accomplish something tells you can accomplish everything, right?
Yep.
So that's really the message that, that we carry over. And in this transition, my wife has been just a motivator for me, man. Years ago.
Hi, Angela.
Yeah. She knows.
Keep this boy in line. Keep him in check.
She keeps me in line for sure. But, when we met, we were two complete opposites. I'm this blue-collar guy, own a lawn business. I'm working 6-7 days a week. She's an MBA, she's going to Michigan State at that point, going for her MBA. She's, working corporate America, white collar.
Right.
I don't fit the script of somebody that, is of interest in the dating path of her, right?
Right.
She's currently at this point going through a divorce, and something grabbed her attention, something that I never saw myself. Something grabbed her attention that said, this guy is different. She was on a huge dating spree at the point, and a bunch of white collar guys that just didn't fit. It didn't make sense, and something about me made sense. And she asked me a question that I was kind of dumbfounded by, but it was, what are you doing? And I'm just
interesting.
Okay, well, I own my own business. I've made good money. I've done well for my life up until this point. That's kind of an odd question. What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm not a bum. So
right.
But it's like you're so much more gifted than you let yourself understand. And I'm just like, well, I really don't know what that means.
Right.
But okay, sure. I mean, if it works and we have a path, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
And she pushed me to get out of the industry I was in and to take another direction at the industry that I'm currently in. And I grew up. My dad owned a roofing company, custom home building company for many years. So I grew up in the trades. I knew a lot about the trades growing up, and I was able to apply that skill set towards the industry that we're in now. We started out in the insurance industry and a lot of insurance restoration, and it gave me a path, but I didn't understand some of the components, and I also didn't understand how complex things would actually be. Cutting grass, super simple. Landscaping, set a price, do the job, get paid.
Right.
With this was so complex, and you actually know some of the insurance world, right? You got the.
I grew up in a roofing family. My dad did that for years, but not like you do. You're first class all the way, and I'm going to share something with you in a minute with that.
But you actually got to see it firsthand. You were in our office. You did see kind of what we do.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of things that go on.
You were still that kind of growth mode, I think, at that age. I mean, you were. Yeah, the office was kind of a disarray a little bit when I was there. I want to say maybe I'm sure it looks a hell of a lot different.
So
now.
I wouldn't say complete disarray, but we were definitely in a growth period, right?
Yeah.
Didn't really understand branding. Didn't really understand the marketing aspect.
Oh man, he does now, man.
Oh yeah, things have drastically changed, right? But we end up, I end up diving into this industry, and that leads into another path of conversation. The background there. I'd rather not get into at this point. But it opened up a good opportunity that ended up bringing our entire family together. And this is probably the biggest point that I'd love for anybody watching this is going to be, if you're from a divorced family and you don't get along with your ex. And we're both divorced, so you understand that,
right? It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Going through the process.
But I will tell you, when you have commonality in understanding, and that's usually what causes the divorce is not understanding, lack of communication, lack of acceptance in the other individual.
Yeah.
And when you can learn how to get through that situation, just because the marriage didn't work, doesn't mean that there can't be a friendship there. That doesn't mean that you can't co-parent together, because collectively, it really is about the children, right? And given the fact that I put my kids through hell after my divorce, because I was so much in a bad place myself.
Right.
My wife actually helped navigate the path of bringing us all back together within this business.
Wow.
And, some people might think that, our story is a little crazy, and I would say that, probably to the average person, probably is.
Right.
But we are an example, we are proof that you can actually make it work and make something amazing happen. And my kids ended up living a very great life. I mean, we do life.
Awesome.
We do life with my ex-wife. And, and her husband. And we do family events, we do holidays, we vacation together. I mean, we do everything. We have so much fun.
That is so against the norm. You're right, completely. And it takes a very special family unit to be able to pull that together successfully.
Well, this business is actually what did that, going into this path. So I started to learn a lot of differences, and my wife, I got to give her tons of credit, because she was the influence on a lot of the things that took the direction that they ended up going into.
Nice.
And even this current path, we ended up going through a real bad situation during COVID. We ended up both, getting extremely sick, both hospitalized, both on the fence of not making it.
Oh, no.
And
I didn't
literally every single night, FaceTime, saying goodbye, because we didn't know who would maybe not be there the next morning.
Right.
It was that bad. And, I will tell you, from the point, I'm going to rewind just a little bit back, but from the point where, I had contemplated suicide.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, that night, I called my mom. I was at home and called my mom, and I told her, I can't be alone tonight. You know, I just cannot be alone, and I need to be around somebody because I don't trust myself. You know, I'm in a bad place.
Right.
She said, come on over. I went over. I end up, you know, taking something to go to sleep and just laying there. And man, I wasn't extremely spiritual, not very religious, believe in God, but I didn't follow that path. And I'll tell you, that night, I literally prayed, man. I said, man, I'm at the down and out point. So if there is something different, you have a chance to prove it. Like this, I need this. I need, you know, do something with me and show me a path. Why do these women treat me the way they do? Why does life have to beat me down and make me feel so invaluable? You know, why can't you give me the right person that can help me grow? Yeah. And I'll tell you, my prayers were answered because I woke up that next morning and it was gone. I swear to you, I said goodbye to my mom. Said I'm good. I'm in a very different mental space. I don't know what happened, but every bit of agony was completely washed away. You know, the situation after the breakup I went through, it took a real bad toll on me, and it was completely wiped away that next morning. And I stayed single until I met Angela. Yeah. And my prayers got answered, man. She has been a blessing. She has been a blessing for every bit of direction of things that I really wanted to see change. Right. And she continues to be that direction. She continues to help me grow. So, you know, for anybody that just thinks, just because life is in a really negative space right now, don't think that it can't change. It absolutely can change. You know, I'm being super modest right now on just how things have navigated in my life. Right. To not understand the impact of others and what they're going through, I want to understand that. Yes. I want to dive deep into somebody, you know, and I think, you know, this is really when we started talking again and knowing you were going in this Imagine Better direction. Right. You know, it was aligning so well with what my outlook is of outreach to individuals that are from 18 to 25 years old, that I remember that transitional period, and had I been navigated differently, I would have saved myself so many years financially, setting myself up, investments, understanding, you know, I mean, even compound interest, right? I didn't know what the heck that even was till I was like 34, 36 years old. Yeah. Had I knew that at a young age, I would have invested. I mean, I made lots of money. Yeah. And if I had invested correctly,
be a different game.
I probably wouldn't even be sitting here. I'd be, you know, sitting on a beach somewhere.
Oh hell no! I would have got your ass in that chair, boy.
You know, I don't think a lot of the same things would have aligned. Right. You know, I mean, life had to take its course of negativity in order for me to understand and appreciate what positive sense could come out of it. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So I mean, you've going through the challenges, the traumas, you know, just everything in life as you grow up, the good, the bad, the ugly of life. You meet the love of your life. I love your marriage. I think the two of you are true growth partners, you know, very humble. You've always been a very kind, generous kind of individual. And, you know, then you start your roofing company, and then you get to a point where then you get these young kids coming in and working for you. And something just in your brain just says, I'm gonna teach these guys the trade. I'm gonna teach them how to run a business. I'm gonna teach them how to be a better human being. And then along that journey, I'm gonna help them make money, right? Yeah. And so what's interesting is, and I'll pick back up on that, but what's interesting, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he does roofing. Not to the caliber of you, trust me. And I tried to explain to him the difference, and I showed him your videos, and I said, "This is like a VIP professional roofing company. I mean, uniforms, videos. I mean, you got drones, you got shit flying around houses, you know, capturing all this stuff. You understand branding, marketing, you mentor. I mean, you've got the whole package. You don't meet roofers like you." You're not just a roofer. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business, you're a mentor, and all of that bundled into
life is this guy, Keith Powers. Now you're going on to this new journey, this new thing I can't wait to get into. Because, I mean, you called me with fire in your belly, dude.
Yeah, the fire's there.
I mean, this guy's being so calm and laid back right now. I thought he was going to come in like Hulk Hogan, and just all get it, all fired up today.
We're not done yet, right? So, don't worry. As soon as I think we get on that path, a lot of the passion comes out.
Yeah.
It truly does,
Well, walk us through it. Get us to the point where, this is your time. I want to learn. I want my audience to know about Keith Powers.
As we grew out the roofing company and training sales reps and seeing a lot of kids that really had no direction and one, it started out as any business, money.
Right.
Making that revenue, right? But then you start realizing, man, a lot of these people have the same problems I had at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Now you start diving into, it's not just about the money. I really want to resonate with an understanding of how can I help these kids? How can I help these individuals? Not even just kids. I mean, some, young adults. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Just understanding that we all have issues and we all need to work. But when you want to work in an environment that people actually give a shit to grow you more than just how you can grow them.
Right. You want to feel appreciated.
So that's kind of the angle that we started going into, and even the way that we were hiring, the way that we were retaining people. I mean, I've let go of some people that were making us some serious money, but they were extremely toxic for the environment. And I can say, over the last couple years is really where the growth, has completely shifted. Culture shift, drastic.
Really?
Oh man, it's just a complete night and day. And it feels good. It feels uplifting. It feels positive.
Now, was that around the time you rebranded?
Yeah. Because, I had this vision at this point of the rebranding as a new face for the company, the direction.
Right.
The way that we were going to promote ourselves. This is when a lot of the video had started. This is, when I was looking for somebody like-minded that I also could help navigate into a path, which is, where me and Scott had came together, and it's been a blessing. I mean, every single placement, every individual that has come into the organization has almost been the most perfect planted position needed at the time.
Right.
And it's showing itself, it truly is. And I think positive energy has a lot to do with it, changing the mindset, changing the mindset of direction, and doing it for a difference of purpose than profit. Our profits are growing because our purpose has changed.
Right.
I truly do believe that. Everybody that we're taking with us, it's not just about us. It's about all of us, literally. Everybody that's helped navigating this path is going to benefit, when this company gets to its point where we're going to go for acquisition. We're going to sell. And we want everybody there at the time that has really put in the work and has helped us promote, helped us brand, that we want them to benefit from, what the work is that they've put in. So this is where we want to dive in deep to the individual and help them in the areas of personal life too. We all got problems, right? Yeah. I want it to be more than just about you coming in and making a paycheck. Let's talk about those things.
Right.
Let's help you figure those things out. Let's also bring in, financial advisors. Let's show you how to invest. Let's go further than just the job that you're here to do every day. Let's turn you into your own personal brand yourself within our own platform. We want people to experience how to build themselves. Because
I love that how you do that.
Right.
And you're across your social footprint. You guys do a brilliant job of showcasing your resources, your people, your teams. And I love that, and I think that just empowers them. It gives them the ability to be creative, innovative, right? It just demonstrates the culture that you have. It's an open door policy. Share your ideas and let's grow together, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. I think so many companies get hooked up on, and I get it, but they get hooked up on the dollars, the technology, the processes, and they forget about the most important thing, their people. Let their minds open so the ideas flow, capture the creativity, leverage it, embrace it. That's the power of transformational change. in an organization.
Yeah.
And that will also penetrate deep into the person's soul, their mindset, everything. So,
yep.
Awesome, man. That's solid.
Can't disagree. It's every bit of the outlook I have. I mean, one thing I can say, and you keep saying the word is, and I love empowering,
Right.
And I'll tell you, this is within itself, right? Our last name speaks for itself.
Dude, yeah.
I'm telling you.
We got the powers.
Does it not? I mean, truthfully, I mean, to have that empowering mindset, it is a gift to have the last name that I have, and I'm sure that you
we get complimented all the time on it. People say you have the best
name.
Yes, you've got the best last name, and we do.
I never realized.
Sorry, everybody, we have the best last name. Powers. Come on.
But I never realized.
You can change it if you want. Change yours to Powers.
But I never realized what it would do for me.
Right.
What it would really do. What my last name meant to really a point in life where I can recreate my family tree. Completely. I can show my children a path that my father was not able to show me.
That's powerful right there.
That is massively powerful, right? Because at the end of the day, man, we're all going to have our last day, right?
Yeah.
And what does your life actually say about you? And this is the point in COVID where things really shifted for me, and I knew my life was going to go in a different direction. And that's where the branding changed. That's where the purpose changed. Was knowing that as I laid there every night, I literally recited my life. And I could not sit there and feel positive knowing that this is it. What did I actually do for others?
Right.
What did I do for my children to leave behind a legacy that literally carries forward in their direction? Right. Then I become no different than my own dad, right? Because I didn't do enough.
Right.
So that's where it goes now, is giving and giving and giving as much as I can and showing my children, I mean, I'm very proud of my kids, where they're at today. They have a lot of work to still do, but, the challenges that they're going through, they're working on, they're learning credit build early, way earlier than I did. Because they have direction, they have somebody to help mentor them in that area, right?
I wish I had all that growing up.
Yeah, so it's really awesome, but let's get into where things are at today, right?
Yeah, you guys ready for this one?
I'll tell you. So this is the point where I might get a little bit out of hand because
I have security out the door.
Yeah,
here.
the purpose of the purpose of knowing that I wanted more for other individuals,
right?
And we had we were talking about this after COVID and just saying me and my wife sitting on the back patio and rehabilitating from all the nerve damage that we had gone through for over a month. And just laying there and saying, we have to do things differently. Life has to actually matter. We have to, we're running the rat race every day. We're working 100 hours a week. We barely spend time together. We don't spend time with the family. We don't do anything, right? I don't want a life like this. I want to figure out how to make it different.
Right.
And we started building that out. And a lot of things have transpired even since then, things I've learned from. But it came a pivotal point where, and I think this has happened many times through my life, that the right placement at the right time, God shows, hey, this is the next chapter. This is the next step, right?
I agree with that.
Follow my lead. I'm going to place it right in front of you. Pay attention to it. And if you put in the work, as we have been, I'm going to show you the path, right?
Right.
And me and my wife are driving, and we have this conversation. And, she's to the point where, she's a little older now, and, the corporate market, right? The older you get, you get a little bit more liquidated.
Yes.
So her transition up would be to go for her PhD, right? From an MBA to a PhD. It's really the only growth that she has left.
Right.
And then you got to contemplate, okay, well, taking on another student loan, and, what does that cost? What's the offset? Is the value there, right?
Exactly.
And at the same time, I looked over and I said, I love that I didn't have to go to college. I love it. And I'm not like, a product of the corporate ladder that I have to worry about my advancement. I didn't need a PhD. I've got a me-HD. And she looked at me and she was like, "What'd you just say?" And I said, "Wow, that's pretty catchy, huh?" She said, "That is the most empowering brand of an individual that didn't need schooling or doesn't need schooling and just has the right direction on how to build a life out and navigating them." And knowing that I have lived that life and went from nothing to what I feel, was, generated a pretty well success.
Right.
Not just financially, but mentally.
Yeah.
I have really absorbed a lot of things and been exposed to so much negativity and so much positivity from the negative learning, right?
Right.
That I know that I'm able to do this for individuals, and that is ultimately the end game after the roofing is said and done. But we're currently building it out now. Is the me-HD platform, and it's literally telling you that life is possible, a better life is possible. Understanding how to get there is possible.
Yeah.
Through every negative sense of everything that you're going through, you don't have to stay stuck in that place.
Yeah.
That there's always a way up. And even when you don't think there is, and you're literally on that night like I was and contemplating it being all over, all you have to do is tell yourself, somebody else was able to do it too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm capable as well. So that's our path. Our path is literally helping individuals that have no direction, that don't know how to get there, and we're going to help them build out a life. We're going to help them build financial success. We're going to help them if they want to start a business. How do you orchestrate it? What pieces have to start out,
Right.
I will tell you that some people, they don't want to take on that responsibility. Or, maybe sales is intimidating,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, sales has changed my life drastically, not only in communicative skills, but financially. There is nothing in life that can give you a better path than sales. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Either be a sales rep, salesperson, or start your own business.
Yeah.
Those are your two choices of generating over $100,000 to millions of dollars a year with no problem.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we do it millions a year.
Yeah.
There is no way I could be where I'm at today without the sales experience that I had developed the skill set of.
Yeah.
So, people get intimidated when you hear the word sales. Like, we bring people in for sales interviews. It's like, well, I've never really done sales. Well, you have, right?
I would just
You've done
say that.
sales.
Every one of us.
You've been selling your
do
whole life.
sales.
You've been selling your parents, to stay the night at somebody's house.
Yeah.
Sleepovers. You've been, selling since you were a baby that you're hungry. Feed me.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't relate it the same way. The understanding, the skill set that you have been developing your whole life. If you're married, trust me, you selling.
Talk about products that you
every day,
love,
right?
To your friends and your family. You're selling them.
Absolutely.
When you go out and you start dating, or you're trying to, get your fiance to marry you, you're selling. Man.
You're selling.
You're selling.
You're
so
always selling.
Everything we're doing, you're always. What's that movie? The Glenn Gary something with Alec Baldwin. He says the ABCs.
Yeah.
Always be closing.
Always be closing. You're always closing. You're always trying to close somebody on something.
So
right?
Keith called me up one day, and this was 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. You were coming
back from Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Oh my God, this guy was on fire.
Very intense conversation, wasn't it?
Whoa.
You actually.
I was like, man, you might want to pull over. You're going to get in an accident. Yeah. He was pumped up. Let's walk me through that. Walk these guys through that conversation, because that's what really led us to today.
You really are what got me motivated on that whole topic, because understanding your story,
right?
We've known each other a while. I've watched you go through your trying times. We discussed a few of those times when they had happened. Even at the point where you were learning a little bit about my business, you were going through a pretty rough spot.
Oh yeah.
And when we got into talking about this, and you're telling me this new path, this new transition and new thought process, you literally picked yourself apart. Okay? And I appreciated that drastically, you know. Some of the people that you were kind of surrounding yourself with too, I don't think were the best for you, right? And you had realized to get away from those types of individuals.
Yeah.
That's really the only way that you could grow. So when we start talking about these things, you know, it is a mass passion that comes out because there are so many people out there selling a message that are completely full of shit.
You're not kidding.
Okay? I mean, the internet is full of it today, you know? There's so much marketing out there. Get rich overnight. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not getting rich overnight.
No.
I don't give a shit what book you buy. I don't care about what program that you pay for to go to, what event you go to, what conference you go to. It's completely irrelevant if there's not a component of deliverance, of teaching you, literally mentoring you, helping you, guiding you. If you don't get that, don't waste your time. If anything, spend $20 on a book. You know, that's one of the best things I could actually say. You know, it's a very minimal cost, and you want to self-realize. Read a book. Read a book. Read the words. Take a highlighter. Highlight those areas that are impactful in that book.
That's how I read. I have a highlighter. I have multiple books I read every day. And a lot of the guests on my show are authors, so I have their books, and I read every day. Now, I'm not a power reader. I'm not going to go through a single book in a day or two or three. So hell, sometimes it takes me a month to read a book that's a couple hundred pages because I'm reading for certain things in there, and I'm highlighting. Then I go to the next book because the topic's intriguing. But it's how I do it. It's part of my growth journey. And to grab those snippets. So much like when you say, you know, you're not going to get rich overnight. I don't know, not everybody might realize that or believe that. I will tell you, I agree with you. It takes a lot of people like yourself. You're very successful. And some would say, hey, Keith Powers, he, you know, the last 2 years really transformed his life. He really transitioned into this power entrepreneur. Well, some would look at that and go, you became successful overnight. Well, it took 25 years to fucking become successful overnight or whatever it is, you know? So read a book. You know, I think a lot of people, like I had to, and I appreciate you recognize that. I did pick myself apart for you, and I wanted to share my journey a little bit. And I had to realize I needed to create a new circle. And that circle I had to hand pick based off my journey, my growth, my pain, and who these individuals who could truly help me, right? And so like Monday's nutrition coach, Tuesday's my therapy, Wednesday's my show, right? Thursday's my life coach, Friday, time to process, think about it, and get ready for the next week. So all these things can help motivate us, but motivation only takes you so far, right? So I always tell people, you can't just go out and look for motivation. You have to be willing to do the activation.
No doubt.
And that's sustainability, right? So that's how you grow as an individual. And
environment matters though.
Environment,
well, right?
environment in that circle of people.
Change your environment and you will change your entire life.
Absolutely.
Financially, physically, mentally, every aspect.
Absolutely.
Most important, you know?
Yeah.
First, self-realize, admit your wrongs, right? Dive deep, get granular, be hard on yourself.
Oh my God, you gotta be vulnerable?
Dude.
Transparent?
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Oh my God.
Every day, man, I pick myself apart.
Yeah.
Every day.
Good
every
for
day
you.
I'm a challenge for Scott. Every day. You know, I'll tell you, I've usually always flew by the seat of my pants, everything I do in life.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I'm getting older and a lot more things are going on. You know, now where I'm just so busy. My time management is the most crucial to me now, learning time management. When I didn't care to have time management before, I just made it all work. Can't do that today, you know? I mean, you know, being more disciplined, making sure that I have time for the gym, making sure that I have time for the business, making sure I have time for the, you know, the personal development brand. You know, and making sure I have time for my family, for my wife. You know, that's something that I did not invest a lot of time into that I'm currently managing myself into today.
That's beautiful. I love that.
I don't want to die not putting in that time. that's like, hey, Dad was awesome. He was really smart. He was great at business, and he made a lot of money, but we never got to spend any time with him.
Right.
When you're a product of not being in a lot of photos, there's a bigger problem, man.
Oh my God.
And it goes well beyond the money. And these are the things that we want to promote and we want to teach. We want to help people understand, because it's the young mindset, that actually navigates, a positive or negative direction. Most young individuals, if they don't have direction, they end up in the wrong crowd. They end up with the wrong people, and they cannot get a good growth out of the wrong individuals. I mean, those people are there to take advantage of them, as they took advantage of me at a young age. It wasn't until I completely shifted my environment that I got around like-minded individuals, people that were very wealthy, people that were great business owners, people that were great mentors, and maybe didn't live the life that I lived.
Right.
I mean, some of them hear my story and just like, damn, how are you even here? How'd you even make it through that, right? And I question that's, same thoughts sometimes.
It speaks volumes to the person you are. You're strong.
So that is my passion of why we're going in this direction. Right. I want to change those individuals that don't have that direction today. And we want to show them that path. We want to show them, and I want to align with people that, like yourself, that are going in that path.
Thank you.
That we can, we can do it in numbers. We can really gravitate in areas that maybe, my platform does not fit it, yours does in areas.
Right.
That we can help each other, because at the end of the day, it really isn't about us, right?
No.
In the path that we're going in, it's how do we really impact, how do we really deliver the message, and how do we change thousands and thousands of people's lives and redirect them into an area that they don't even know is possible. That's what it's
and I love
about.
that. So this Me HD is, it's not about Keith Powers, right? It's
about the individual.
It's about the individuals, the people. It's your way to pay forward and bring this legacy to fruition. And that's, this show is not about Mark Powers at all. It's not about me at all. It helps me, though. I started this to help me, so I can help others, right? It's the messages. The people that sit in that chair right there, it resonates with a lot of different people that I would never be able to reach out to, right? Yeah. And through your program, you're going to be able to, your platform is going to be able to educate, inform, and build amazing humans, right? And it's like we're going to be able to, and that's what I love about both of the platforms. Like I shared a little bit about the next journey in Imagine Better, what I'm doing.
I literally love it.
And more to follow on that. Next week it'll be a big announcement. But it's I don't know about you, Keith, but like doing this kind of stuff for me scares the fucking shit out of me, dude. Like I get out there and I go, am I capable? Because I start beating myself up. Am I the guy that should be in this seat driving this conversation? Am I the guy that sits in this seat and builds this platform to help other people when I myself am still struggling on my journey? Fuck yeah, I am. Because I'm going through the battle right now, and people are it resonates. I get people telling me all the time, and I'm sure once this platform of yours, Me HD, is ready to hit the world, you're gonna transform so many lives. I can't wait to see it happen. Yeah. I just can't. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. There's no question. I can't say that I get into that thought process. I can appreciate where you're at and some of those struggles. All I can tell you is make your purpose worth more than what you're going through in your mind, because I'll tell you. Yeah. You're capable. You wouldn't have started what you're doing if you weren't capable, right? Yeah. And I think that is something that should be realized in any individual. That if you start something, you've already proven to yourself the capability that you have, because it's the mindset that has to tell you to do it first. Yeah. And then the action comes, right? Yep. And if you can perform that action. Yeah. And just recently, I had come up with this 11-11 strategy, and I say that if you can do it for one day, you can do it for 1 week.
I read something on this. You posted this recently too.
You do it for 1 week, you can do it for 1 month.
Right.
And at that point, if you can do it for a solid month, you have already committed. You're already on your way. You can do it for 11 more months.
Yeah.
You can do it for a year. In that 1 year timeline, you will not recognize the person that you are.
Yeah.
And now you have a position in life that shows you can become something better. Now it's just getting with the right people, making sure that you keep that path going, and learn as much as you can. You know, get into the right rooms. And if you don't know how to get into the right rooms, that's what we're here for. We're going to show you how to get in those right rooms. We're going to show you how to network. We're going to show you how to build your own network.
Right.
We're going to show you how to build your own net worth. We're going to show you how, if you have families, how to help your families learn early.
Right.
I mean, this is a bigger purpose than just the individual. We want this, transitional all the way through. I mean, it's not just a transformation for the individual. It's a transformation for everything in their life's path.
Yeah.
I mean, we want families involved. We don't want just these individuals. We want bring the families in, bring them along.
Right.
When we do our conferences, bring your families along. We want them to see what you're investing in.
Yeah.
Because we're really serious about the change. We really want to build an amazing culture, not just within a business, but within a society. We want a bigger growth.
You and I are so aligned on that, because just yesterday a friend of mine asked me what's one of my biggest goals for what I'm doing with this platform, Imagine Better. And I said to him very simply, I just said, I want to be a change agent across communities. Starts with the individual, then that goes into the home, to their families. That then reaches another family, and then it spreads. That positivity, that energy just starts spreading across everything you do. You go out, you're pumped up, you're excited. That energy feeds on everybody else, right? Yeah. You could go to a grocery store, stand in line, and somebody you don't even know will feel that energy. You turn around, you smile, you just made their day. And you never know what someone's going through. So stuff like this, it's rewarding for me.
So, when we were in that conversation, it was taking me a second to kind of, recite exactly, what we were talking about. But
right.
I do kind of remember, we got into conversation on the negative aspects of mentorship.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So many people doing it for financial gain, taking advantage of the situation. And, I just recently came back from something, that I had went to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I went into it with literally the aspect of maybe not getting anything out of it. Just, I've been to so many of these events, many of these mentorship events, and usually leave with, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of, bark, a lot of, buy my book, buy this, buy another program. Buy my mentorship package.
Yep.
You get so much time. One-on-one with me, and then I couldn't stand these things because I always left with no value. I'm telling you, it was the same sales pitch every single time, and I'm looking at the rooms, and just like, man, how many people are going to be suckered into this that literally are going to spend all this money and really not be helped? They're not. I mean, they're going to stay right where they're at because it's this person's way. They're not guiding them their way.
Right.
Because every individual learns differently. And it's tapping in. I mean, you can give them the basis, the framework. But what about after that? Continued growth. You want to be there to help perform for them. And, we're building this out. It's going to be a build out of many coaches, many people, not just me, right? We'll have a very select core group that will come to me specifically. But we're going to have many individuals in their path, of where they're their subject matter expert in finance, in real estate, in fitness and coaching, for just life development, business mentorship, directional mentorship coming out of high school, not having any way to go.
Right.
But that was one of my biggest frustration points when we were talking, that I was getting so fired up on, is how much bullshit is out there that people really don't care. So going to this event that I went to just recently, I'm going to tell you, it was an Andy Elliott event.
Yeah,
and,
well, that guy's awesome.
Man,
he is on fire.
He is awesome, but he is like, and I can relate with him, man, because we're two of the same, of like that big, intense, very intense. But I also got to meet Andy on a more one-on-one basis, and I'll tell you, genuine guy, man. Like, that bark, that really intense persona.
Right.
It's there, but when he is one-on-one, it's real. He is a really caring individual, and he really does, he really does believe in the path that he is generating, and which says why he's so successful. I mean, I got to meet his sales team. You couldn't break that team. You could go in there and try and recruit any of his people. Would never happen. I mean, they are diehards. They will die for this guy. I'm not kidding.
I've watched a ton of his videos. I follow him all, but I've been following him for probably 2 years now. I never had a chance to go to I maybe had a chance to go to one of his conferences. I just haven't. But you not only went, but you had a chance to meet with him personally, and that would have been a cool experience.
I wasn't supposed to even be going down this path of what we were going to do for the coaching platform for a couple of years, 2-3 years. It was something that we were looking at after the roofing sale. I came back from this event so ignited, so just like, man, so many ideas, so many things going through my head, and seeing so much possibility that it just ignited me to say, when I got back, we're doing this. There's no more time to waste, right? We want to start changing lives. I don't want to wait to do it. Who knows if I have tomorrow, right? Who knows if we have next year? I don't want to waste any more time. I want to start impacting people today. And that's what it's all about. And this is the direction we're going in. And we're going to be that realness. We're not going to bullshit you. Yeah. We're going to tell you the truth. If you really suck, we're going to tell you suck, and we're going to show you how to get it right. We're going to show you how to directionalize your life and stop sucking so much, right?
You suck, but we're going to teach you how to suck less.
We're more or less going to teach you how to understand and admit where you're getting it wrong. Because you don't suck because you suck. You suck because you don't admit your wrongs. Yeah. You're in the way of change. We're all a product of what we don't want to believe.
Oh yeah.
Okay? We hate to expose ourselves. Of where all
it's
of our
hard,
negatives are. Right?
You don't want people to think that you're a weak ass and whatever. I mean, it's fear holds us back from that.
But then don't expect change.
Correct.
Okay? Don't expect life is going to be better if you're not willing to accept where you're at and what you've put there.
That's
right?
True to that.
Is it I'm around the wrong people? Well, then change your environment. Yep. Right? Well, you don't have any money. Well, then go to work. Well, I don't understand what to do. Well, then learn it, figure it out, or else go do a bunch of things until you find something that you actually like.
A lot of people, though, have, I joke about this a lot, I probably shouldn't, but they have this big disease, this big problem, right? A lot of you out there have what I refer to as excuse-itis, and you need to fix that shit. Stop making excuses, right? Hey, here's the problem. Find a solution. If you can't find a solution, surround yourself with guys like Keith Powers and his new team, and figure out a path that's right for you, because you got to get that circle built, right? You got to get that trust circle. That's going to be that encouraging. They're your cheerleaders, but they're also going to be, pounding you, man. Just saying, get your ass up today. Here's your routine. Let's get to work, right? It's interesting. You went to Andy's that conference, that event. And I've said this on my show before. It's like, that you go to these big motivational speaker events. I mean, we've had this conversation about motivational speakers. It's like, yeah, you're there. It's an emotional charge, right? You get this like, yeah, I can walk out of here. I can fly out of here. I'm so pumped up. But that's it. It all dissipates 10 feet from once you get out that door. So it has to be that's why I always say it has to be sustainable, which is what has happened with you. And so you can go in and get motivated, but you have to I always say, replace motivate with activate. It's great to be emotionally it's just pumped up, but you have to have that ability to, as a speaker, as a coach, as a mentor, to teach that audience how to activate and sustain that energy, right? Yeah, and then that's what MeHD is all about.
It's exactly what it's about.
And when you got back and you called me, because, man, he was on fire, guys. I'm telling you, this guy was pumped up.
Did I tell you how that even transpired? Because back in January, I was explaining to Scott that,
Scott's sitting back here, guys.
Scott's sitting back here. So
He's got the behind the scenes cameras going.
So we were sitting there talking about the event, and I had another buddy who was supposed to go to the event at the same time, and I'm like, you know what, I'll go. The main reason I was going was because Patrick Bet-David was actually, one of the guest, speakers there. And I loved Andy. But man, if you watch Pat, right, Pat is the man. I align with so many of his ideals, and he's so passionately caring and devoted to really changing individuals and perspective on life, right? And I was going to this event specifically for him, not even for Andy, right?
Okay.
So the sales rep is on the phone, and he's trying to sell me on this VIP ticket, and he's like, hey, by the way, it just so happens Andy's walking by right now, and Andy jumps on the phone. I'm like, give me a break, like the tactics, right? Like, dude, you don't have to sell me. And Andy jumps on the phone. He's like, hey, and I told Andy straight up. I said, man, I mean, the main reason I'm coming is to see Patrick, I just, not to insult you, but, that's one of the bigger reasons I'm coming,
Right.
I love it that I'm coming to see you, but man, you're having a really powerful guest, right? So that's why I'm coming. And he basically said, I really appreciate, you're signing on to it, and we'll see if you feel the same way when you leave. You want to talk about just like the cockiness of knowing
right.
that he believes in himself that deep, that when you leave this event, I'm gonna change your damn life, bro. Like, you have no idea. And I'm just like, whatever, right?
Right.
And we, up until that point, I mean, I made jokes about it. I really did. And Scott's back there right now. He remembers all these conversations. And my buddy actually ended up bailing. And because he bailed, the coach I was working with there that had sold me the ticket, she ended up getting me into a CEO position, seating that was on, at the stage.
Oh,
but
sweet.
She gave me my original ticket, and I was able to bring my son. I was going to bring Scott. Scott felt like staying behind in marketing was the better idea. I'm sure he regrets that today. But Tyler ended up, able to go with me. And, if anybody knows my son, knows he's a massive introvert. And what it did for his life,
wow,
man, you have no idea. I mean, it changed this kid drastically. He came back like so intensely headstrong. And I'm just
meant to be.
Had I known that my kids would experience this, and that's just all I had to do was bring them to an event like this, right? Because after that event, I left saying, wow, and I even told Andy, I said, wow, you made a believer out of me, man. I got to talk to one-on-one, and, even the coach, I said, you guys got something amazing going on here. Like, it's really powerful. You're really tapping into people, man. I mean, the first day, it wasn't even the event day, we're there, and we walk into what we're thinking is a workout session with, like, we're going to go lift some weights, and, we pull up, there's a freaking party going on in this parking lot. I'm talking hundreds of people, cold plunges in the parking lot, saunas in the parking lot. I mean, we're running up a hill, running back down the hill. They're beating it in your mind. Keep going, don't you stop. And I'm just like, this is nuts. I'm gonna die, man. Like, I'm in good shape, but man, these guys are gonna kill me, right? Fitness-wise, I'm gonna die. So, we get back to the parking lot, we're doing up downs, we're doing, all sorts of crazy shit, man. I'm just like, dude, this was day one. The event hadn't even happened yet. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right.
Like, this is lunatic, right? And dude, we left that event, and I'm just like, God, we are doing it wrong. Like, I'll tell you, man, we are doing it all wrong. You want to really engage into somebody in a culture, dude, they have to feel it way beyond what you're just, mentally preparing them for on a one-on-one basis of, hey, let's look out for each other. Dude, I'm talking, these people eat together. These people work out together. These people bleed together. These people,
band of brothers.
Dude, it is a family unit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the companies that they bring into it are part of the family, man. They adapt. It is a brotherhood, and we're obviously in a position right now where we're gravitating a lot of our direction into what we're developing.
Right.
And behind the scenes, they didn't even know the plan. We just got done with the trademarks. You know, we just
I remember that.
You know, by the way, you know, thank you for that. You know, that referral.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know, he was amazing. Helped out drastically, and you know, we got all the legals taken care of. So this brand can actually be in existence, and nobody can copy it. We wanted to make sure it was under wraps for a long time, and it's there now. You know, we have a huge clothing brand coming behind it. You know, to where you can feel proud. You can actually showcase yourself in your value, your worth in the clothing, you know, and fully live that MeHD life. Fully live that fulfilled, you know. So the MeHD stands for Me Highest Development.
Right.
So it is the highest development of your being, of what you can create yourself to be. And we want to help you build that life, or even help your followers, help people. You know, I mean, you're going to be doing stuff with schools.
There's going to be a lot of synergy here, man, where we can go in together on a lot of school
things. Have it the worst right now. Okay, it isn't like when me and you grew up. School was very different. It's changed so drastically. I mean, put politics into the mix. I don't know where everybody sits politically. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, our kids are taught very differently today, okay? I mean, home economics was very critical. You know, understanding how to balance a checkbook. None of these kids understand this today, right? From what I understand, you know, some public schools are starting to gravitate a little bit more towards it again, but there's so much of it still not out there. You know, private schools, I mean, I'm sorry, but they dive into these kids this way. You know, I don't think college holds its weight today. I don't think college degrees and student loans and all this debt you have to pay back is the way to go today. You know, not when you have an environment of people that can gravitate you faster and be prepared for the real life that the textbook isn't going to teach you. See, that's what you don't understand. Go for your undergrad, go for your MBA. I don't care about those. It doesn't matter, because the real world, real life challenging experience, especially if you're a business owner, until you go through a loss and you get your ass handed to you and you're like on the breaking point of, man, I may not have a business tomorrow. Until you're in that blood, sweat, and tears, and you got a family, you got bills to pay, you got mouths to feed, and you're in that stress point, I don't care what anybody says. Your MBA class is not teaching you that. Your undergrad class is not teaching you that. And then the next thing is coming out of high school, most of you that would even pick some direction to go into, it's going to change. Now you're in debt. You have a student loan to pay back on something that you go, man, I didn't realize that what I picked was actually going to be this. And I've heard that story so many times. Guess what? You don't get a discount on that student loan because, you know, your mind changed. You're paying it back. So you're already in debt. You're already starting out under, right? Why don't you look into something like our MeHD platform and learn how to not go into debt, how to gravitate towards financial earnings, life earnings, mentally, physically, right? Everything. Change your whole trajectory. Change the direction. Have a path. Let us help you navigate, you know, and give direction. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. Put your money into things that matter. Not into things that are going to dilute you or
oh my God, invest in yourself?
I mean, what's that?
What?
Right? What is that? Not a lot of people understand that, but we have to understand that you have to start somewhere. Right. You're not getting rich overnight. All right. You have to be making $100,000 a year, period, to start really transitioning your life financially, investment-wise, investing into yourself to a really deep extent. And we can show you how to do that. And, you know, I'm going to say it time and time and time again, sales is the best path. I don't care what line of sales you're in. There's sales in every market, okay? Whatever market you are enthused by, we're gonna help shift you into being the best salesperson you can possibly be in that market. Or you want to be a business owner. I'm telling you, those are your two paths. You do not want that 9-to-5 job or that, you know, and I'm not knocking the fast food industry or being a waitress or a waiter, but why would you not want to be the, you know, restaurant owner? Why? I mean, we're always going to have those certain people that just, they don't have, you know, the belief system in themselves, and they're fine with just running the
so many people, they're scared, they don't have the resources. They might have the capability to do this stuff, but they don't know how. So MeHD is going to teach them.
Yes.
Provide them the resource. Give them that new circle of life of people that they can trust and be a resource and a guiding post for them. And that's what's exciting. So when does this thing hit the world? When you guys make your official splash?
We're right there. Okay. That's it. We're within, a couple months of launch time.
So by year end, MeHD will be ready to go out to the world and start making some real change.
Yeah.
A big difference. That's powerful. I can't wait.
We just wrapped up the legals on it just a few weeks
Yeah,
back.
it was right. I mean, when you got back from that event, I mean, when you called me, I mean, this is all 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Lots happened.
A lot.
I mean, you went from to this is what we're doing now. Overnight.
We talked so many times. Like, man, I want to just let the cat out of the bag. I want to share it with you so bad.
You couldn't. You had to get the trademark and all that.
I just couldn't do it. But we're there now. We're right there on the edge of launch. And as soon as it does, get ready because it's a big thing coming.
So is this going to be primarily an online thing, or are you also offering one-on-one, in-person type opportunities? Help the audience understand what MeHD is about.
So it's going to have
what's the format?
Yeah, it's going to have a few different facets to it. So we're going to be bringing in teams of people, companies, bringing in their sales teams. We're going to change their sales teams. We're going to change the direction of how these business owners are running their businesses currently.
That's awesome.
We're going to teach their employees, their sales reps, how to invest financially. We're going to teach these business owners to actually invest in their people.
Yeah.
So many business owners are so scared to invest. Well, you want better for your people. You want better for your business. Make your people better, right?
No doubt.
And then you're going to also have some one-on-one mentorship. I just actually had somebody I spoke to last night, and he's actually a roofing competitor locally here. He's very interested in what we're doing.
Right.
And obviously, there's some things that I'm not going to share, because we're competitors. But at the end of the day, what I want, even for the customer, right? Because at the end of the day, it really is not only purpose for the individual to learn it the right way, but resonating a message that they're delivering to the client and doing it the right way, ethically, okay? Because in sales, people have needs.
Yes.
There's something an objective they're trying to get to, and your job is to close the gap and be the best person for what their need is, right?
Yeah.
The old school sales of, the psychology of saying the right things to lead them down the path.
Yeah.
I believe those days are over. I believe a lot of that has weeded itself out, and really it comes down to now, be you, be genuine, be real. Right?
Yeah.
Be the thing that you're supposed to be in front of that individual. They're not buying the product. They're buying you.
Right.
Bottom line, I have sold so many people for more than what the estimates they even currently had. Why? Because the relationship with me was continuous. Even after the sale was done, even after the objective of what they needed was filled.
Right.
I build relationships. I have a mass network of still current customers today from 20 years ago.
That's awesome.
Still reach out to me. Why? Because I know a lot of people in every sector, right? Every industry. And it's like, hey, you need this? Great, I got a guy for you. I have somebody for you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that since it's coming from me, it's going to be done right. You're going to be with somebody that I can trust.
Yep.
It's kind of, I earned that reputation. I earned that believability. And that's why it's, even some of my people, they see it and they're like, man, people are not buying the product. Somebody in the roofing industry, they need a roof. They're going to get multiple bids. But when you can continue a sale even after that sale, right? That's the relationship.
Right.
It's really not what they're purchasing, and it's a continuous build, and that's what it's all about.
Well, Keith, there we go, buddy. We're finishing up another episode of Imagine Better. Great job. Thanks for sharing your story today. Everybody, remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that notification button so you don't miss other amazing episodes like this one. Share it so we can get this message out there. A lot of people are in dire need of guidance and structure. And again, just you guys, imagine better. Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rock on, bro.
Appreciate it, man.